Dr. John.
So,
No.
Steven, do you want to introduce?
Yeah, so welcome to webinar 17. Today we're going to run through some new updates or some improvements to what we already have, as well as talking about a new feature. And then maybe we can talk about how we're going to cross-reference information collected to actually be able to decide or to be able to view norms and to suggest improvement as you use the application. So it's going to be quite an exciting one again today.
So, hello everybody, and thanks to be here again. Where do we start? So did everybody update to the latest 1.20 version? You probably have the new interface, the new features. I've already moved past 121. So 121 is available in beta, but maybe wait before a few hours to download it because there were still some adjustment to do. I will start by showing you some news and some things that we're working on, and then maybe we can just have a chat and a discussion with you. So let's just start with what you will find in 1.21. I think it's a very important new feature. We have worked on biomarkers because honestly, it was still a bit of a mess because it was full of things that were here since years and years and years, and were not properly reordered. So I have reordered this into session, relation, and pulse. Under pulse, you will find the pulse wave, the statistics, and the frequencies and harmonies that are now all together into pulse, which is probably the place where you will never go unless you are interested in technical analysis. But you remember, you can just browse through the recording and see the individual waves and the values and so on. So that is small for a technical part. Same for the frequencies, the harmonics, which is a second order frequencies, and the statistics, which are more useful in pure ECG analysis. Now, under session, you will have dynamics and polygraph. So the polygraph, you know it. Dynamics, you know it. It was formerly named session, which didn't really make sense. So I think the dynamics name is better. This is the evolution of a specific biomarker. So right now it's HRV on short term, medium term, long term. So with this, you can do a more technical analysis, but you can also work with events. You can add some events at specific points. For instance, probably something happened just here, and you can just tell that something has occurred. Okay, and you can say it's a good event or something like that. And so you will find this for later if you want to do some analysis and see what is happening in your recording. You will find this event marked in the player and so on. And the polygraph you already know too. It's a way to compare different groups of markers across the recording. I will not go back to it. In relation, you have some things that you know and some things that are new. So biomarker is every information that you can find into the biomarker panel. Prevalence, how do you say that in English? Prevalence?
Prevalence.
Prevalence, sorry, thanks.
Memo.
Is a number of, yeah, I know it's the same word, but it was just for the way of saying it.
Accent sur la première syllabe. Prevalence.
Prevalence, okay. So this is a number of items that you will find in a specific status for the petal flower. Also useful to see if something happens before and after you do something like doing some exercise or taking some specific product or doing a measurement or a therapy session anyway. But the last one is the one that I'm currently working on, which is causal chain, which is really interesting. It means that you can take, for instance, sorry, let's go back to a priority. And you will ask yourself, okay, why is the lung in the priorities and how could I help the lung into a better state? So you can click on it and you see all the links and you see the quality and so on. And you can, of course, read all the texts that are here. But now under the quality, you have a new button, which is Causal Chain, which will present this information in a much more sensible and easy way to understand. But it will also present it in comparison to every other biomarker that we have. So it means that for the lung, until now, in this panel, we only have the links with other organs, but we don't have the links with, for instance, pathogens, meridians, chakras, or atoms, etc. Whereas in the causal chain panel, we have a complete link with every element, every item and every biomarkers. So, for instance, if I want to see the relationship of the lungs with atoms, I can just click on atoms here. And I will see, I can browse into these different atoms and see their respective values according to the lungs. And only the ones that are in resonance with the lungs will be shown. It means that only the ones that are currently resonating with it, meaning exchanging information and exchanging points where it could move together, are shown. So, for instance, you will see 77 organs related to the lungs, but in the software we have 460 organs. You will see 4 meridians. You will see 31 drives across, whereas we have 50, yes. You will see some momentums and so on. But okay, let's say what are the atoms that could help the lung at this stage? And you will see some are connected in white, which means they are the most capable, able to help the lungs. So tantalum, osmium seems to be the ones that are, it will increase energy, it will decrease entropy, it will decrease loose control, and it will decrease dispersed. So it will enhance the attention, it will enhance the intention, it will enhance the energy, and it will lower the entropy, so the agitation. So for each one of what you are looking at, you will see, for instance, this one will decrease the energy, so it's in red, but it will also decrease the entropy, so it's in green because it's good. So it means everything is red. Everything in red is not so good for this one, but on everything is green will be good for this one. And if you have a lot of green, it will be linked with a white element. Now it's placed on a map like that. And this map makes sense in the same way as the flower makes sense. It means you will have lower energy, higher energy, lower agitation, higher agitation. And the items will be placed on this map according to that. And then the link will be colored according to the qualities. So this one have lower energy. So it means all the ones that are under will need energy for the lung. And all the ones that are over will give energy to the lung. So you can actually just browse into the different organs or the different meridians and check the ones that are the best helpers. And you can filter here with this button. So you can see all the ones that would increase attention, all the ones that would increase intention, the ones that would increase horizon, the ones that are exactly on the main cycles. It means that they are vibrating together, meaning that there is something in common between them right now, okay? And globally, the best helpers, which are the ones that will give the most interesting increase in each of these qualities. You can also click on it. So for instance, if you go to a specific meridian and you see that the stomach, for instance, could help the lung at this point, you can just click on it. And now the stomach will be in the center, and you can see the relationship with every other things. And you have here the history of what you browse. So if you go to, I don't know, bones, and then you go to the ribs, and then you go to the teeth 28, you can always go back here. So either by clicking here, you go back and go back, or just by clicking on it and you go right to the start.
So you show the granularity of the.
So what you will find here is that, for instance, what can I do for the stomach? I will see the relationship with organisms. And I see that there are a lot of organisms that are resonating with it. And maybe some of them could help. So nothing is in white, so nothing is frankly helping. But you can browse the relationships of everything that is resonating together in your analysis, which I think could be very useful. If you want to know which one could help, you have a number here. You see momentum, for instance, you see there are 10 momentums, but there are 3 that are white. So if you click on it, you can see 1, 2, and where is the third? Oh, it's here. Okay. So this is an indication that for this particular problem that you are working on, you can find here 3 helpers, here 14 helpers, here 4 helpers, here 49 helpers. If you are really focused on trying to pinpoint what is happening on a specific biomarker, with this new screen, I think you can find some good solutions, even in the TCM points, for instance. So here you have, for the stomach, 2 TCM points that could help. So you can just, let's click on best helpers, and you can see them, BL9 and ST39. And maybe you can decide to you click on it, you add them to your priorities, and it will be played in the priorities so that it could help. And then you go back. You go back to the lung, to the stomach. You see the other one, BL9. Okay, you put it in the center, you add it to your priorities. And now, of course, the stomach should be in the priorities. And now you have made a specific priority list that will address the stomach, and that will also call for what could help the stomach find solutions.
Is this all to help the lung?
This one is to help the stomach. If we go back to the lung.
Why do we see the lung at the top?
Yes, because this is the history of our research. It's like we made a certain path across our research, and we want to go back. So I think it's important, the history. We started with the lung, and we went to the stomach because we clicked on it, because probably it was something important for the lung.
That's right.
But you see, if you just focus on the, maybe I lost myself a little bit in making the demo. So if you want to stick on the lung, you can see here that there is 1 momentum, 5 drives, 2 atoms, and 11 organs that could probably help.
Right.
So you can just browse on it. And you see the best helper, which is here, organisms. Okay. And if you want to go, you can go down the rabbit hole very, very far, because then you can see what can help the organisms and so on and so on. But if you want just to focus on the lung, you can see what drives can help. So again, you click on best helpers, and you will see hypersensitivity, timidity, lack of trust, lack of grief. So if you have someone coming for a very specific problem and you want to focus on this problem, you can see the whole chain of events, the causal chain around this specific problem, and maybe build a very custom priorities program and frequencies and balance around this specific problem. So it's another way to find everything that resonates together, and what of these items could best help the situation that you want to address.
And that's what you call the causal chain.
Yes, that's what I call the causal chain.
Okay, got it. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. So for instance, if you say, okay, lack of trust, it's speaking to me. So you just click on it. You just add it to your priorities. And then you see that other things could help the lack of trust, but maybe atoms, why not? And you see again tantalum, cobalt, sorry, let's filter, lithium, germanium, copper. Okay, all of this is resonating with the lack of trust. So maybe something into that could help if you have the knowledge on how to use these atoms. Okay, you have one subdosha. So prana. Okay, so if you want to add prana, you just click on it. You add it to your meditation and to your frequencies, and you go back. And again, you work on lack of trust. You see there are two meridians, kidneys and bladder. So you decide you want to add kidneys. Okay, you just add kidneys. You go back to your lack of trust and you say, okay, we are done on lack of trust. Let's go back to my main concern, which was lung. And I will continue explore other venues. So maybe some organs, maybe some atoms, etc., etc. And in that way, I think you can build a program that is very interesting because everything that is shown on this screen are items that are already in resonance within each. Okay, I'm lost in together. Okay, yes, yeah, they are just in resonance together. So. You see here the number of resonances. You can have 5, 4, 3 threads. You remember that the lungs are in resonance with some organs with a number of threads. It means a number of common frequencies that they have in common. So they are resonating together. So if you have 5 frequencies resonating together with the lung, it means that there is a strong connection between the lung and the stomach. So if you do something on the stomach, it will do something on the lung for this particular customer. And this is different for every measurement on every customer. So right now you can know that if you work on the stomach, knowing that you want to address something in the lung, there will be a connection. And that's one of the really, really important points in biocoherence, is that we are mapping all the connections between these different items. But until today, you only have the connections in the same family. It means we are working on an organ, so it shows the connection to other organs. Starting with causal chains, you can see the connections with anything else, drives, atoms, etc., etc. So I think it opens a lot of new possibilities to really find solutions.
So the progress on the previous chart, the previous screen, the progress said 5 parts. Does that mean 5 tests?
Yes, yeah. that means 5 different recordings.
5 different or 5?
5 recordings in the same record.
Okay.
So 5 parts. We call it parts. It means, for instance, the first part would be at the beginning of the session when the client comes in. Then you do some analysis, maybe some treatment, maybe you do some, I don't know, massage.
Or even just the 21-day, right?
You do a second recording, and this second recording will be the second part. Then you do something else, it will be the third part. Then the client goes away and he comes back and he has a sensor and he does a recording at home after 3 days, and it will be the fourth part. Sorry, I clicked somewhere, etc. So you can see the evolution and it will give you the curve. What did I do? Okay. It will give you the curve that you can see under sometimes. But yes, I probably clicked to recompute all parts. If your customer does a recording every day during the 21-day meditation, you will see it here as parts. So each time you do a new recording, you will see a part with a different evaluation with the flower and some new items. You will also see them on top. So you can change the part on top and it should change the flowers.
Where's the curve that shows the sequence?
It's here on progress. Is this curve?
Oh, wow. Okay.
So this is a curve made of the different parts on their evolution. And you can see the details here with the different parts. Okay, so this is new in biomarkers, so I think it makes more sense if now we have in session, we have the evolution of one biomarker across the whole recording or a group of biomarkers, okay? In relations, you have every information we have of this particular biomarker. It means the other meridians, the qualities, the links, and so on. This is now under relation. Prevalence, is the number of elements. Also, you see, we are currently in meridians, so the prevalence is only showing the numbers for meridians. You can filter the prevalence, so you can see everything that is happening in the conception vessel, for instance. And you see a lot of points are in resource, but 2 are in learning state. 22 are in loose control and 2 are balanced. And this is only for the conception vessel. So you can filter it, the prevalence, you can filter it by category here.
Oh, that's very good.
Okay, so this new causal chain, which I think is very useful when you are focused on a specific problem. You start with this specific problem, you open this specific biomarker, you can just choose it here. So you go, I don't know, you go and let's say you want to work on a drive, calmness, okay, you click on it. It will put it in the center, and then you can see the relationships with a lot of other things. For instance, organs. This is totally new. You couldn't do that before. The link between calmness and different organs.
Wow.
Okay, so if you want to work on a very specific topic, you just start with this biomarker, and then you just wander into this. So maybe you want to work on the sinus and then see other elements, the eyes, I don't know, and so on and so on. And maybe then you can wander into the atoms to see which one would be helping. So I think you might find some very good solutions with this new screen. Again, you can have this new screen starting today if you install the beta. The beta is now only available for Windows, Mac, and Linux because we only release the official versions on iOS and Android. But this one will be probably released not far away because it's already working pretty well. I've also made something interesting. If I can show you what happens on a very small screen. When you are on a phone right now, a lot of the space is taken by the menu. And I don't know if you try to work on a phone, but sometimes it's a little bit little like that. So if you click on Causal Chain now, it will take the place of the menu. It doesn't work. Why? Sorry. Causal Chain. Okay, that's the demo effect. It will take all the place of the menu and put the title here so that it will be much easier to work even if you want to work just on a phone, just on a smartphone. So that will be new in 1.21 too. And I think that's all for new screens. Just some new functions here. If you go to settings, you will now have 2 new items, invite friends and my pro directory page. This is just to prepare for the pro directory. So you can just click here and say, I want to be listed on pro directory. You have a place to put all the information you want. So this is free for you. You will have your profile picture, but you can also add another image if you want that will be displayed on your page. And you have a list of specialties that for now is more or less the same as the AI helpers. And you can just check that you can be of help in any of these different specialties. And that will also allow the AI helpers to redirect to you when the customers have questions and they are out of their league. They will start in the next version, they will start to be able to open the pro directory at the page, including specialties they are related to. So that's why we are asking about the specialties here that are related to the AI helpers. If you want to start registering on that, you are free to do it. It's not used right now. The pro directory is not yet public. And if there are some specialties that are missing, just send us an email or a ticket so that we can add them. Okay, you cannot choose them freely because it must be something that is pre-coded so that we can use it by the helpers and in the search. So if something is missing, just send us an email and say, hey, I can also do this and this and this, so please add it to the list. Okay. So this is, I cannot click because there is a button from, oh, okay, good. So this is for the My Pro Directory page, which will be new into the last version. And you see here, also in settings. So when you open settings, you see version 1.21.0. If you open your settings and you see, when you open the settings, the app will check if a new version exists. And if a new version has been released, it will tell you here with a button to directly open to the relevant page. So it could be the App Store, it could be the Play Store, or it could be our website to download the update. So you will not get a notification yet, but you can check in the settings if a new version exists, given the fact that we update official releases about every other week, something like that. And when it's available everywhere, we send an email anyway. The last one is invite friends. Stephen, maybe you want to talk about it. I don't know, but invite friends is a way to generate an affiliation code for you. So you have a master affiliation invitation code, and then you can create specific affiliation codes for different networks, for instance, or for different events. And when people register with this invitation code, it will be linked to your main account. And you can track, you can track your affiliates and see all the contacts on where they have been registered. So you can actually see if, I don't know, you do an event with 100 people and you distribute your affiliation code at this event. You can create a specific affiliation code, and then you can see after a few days how many people from this event have actually registered for that. And of course, you get commission if they start paying something. So you can actually start spreading the word about BioCoherence, and you get a commission if your affiliation codes are used by people that start taking subscriptions.
And actually, when you give a person the affiliation code, they would input it at time of installation, right? So when they install the product.
Exactly. Yes. And now, right, when you launch the app for the first time, you know you have these three new nice screens. And when you click on start the app, it directly asks you, do you have an affiliation code? And you can enter it at this point, because when you create a specific affiliation code, you can give it a name, you can tell some notes for yourself, and you can use some perks. You can choose to give some perks. And one of the most important perks is use specific personalization settings. And the other one is add another invitation code. And you can add another invitation code. It means that if you check use specific personalization settings, it will use your current settings for the new user. So it means if you chose to, I don't know, hide everything that is related to chakras and meridians on Ayurveda because it's not your way of speaking about things, and you don't want the priorities to be taken from the chakras and the Ayurveda and the meridians, but only from organs and the drives, for instance. You can just do this personalization here. So you will just say that you want to hide that and that and that and that, and you want the resource to hide organisms and I don't know, TCM points on that. Okay, so you do this, and then you go to invite friends. You start a new form, and you say use my specific personalization settings. And at that point, it will save with this affiliation code, the personalization that you did under just before creating it. So for instance, if you want to do a specific invitation code for an event at a gym, you can create an interface that will only speak to gym people with mental and body things and remove all the rest. And you can find the priorities, and you can also remember, you can say that you want to add your favorite basic programs. And so if your favorite basic program is something related to gym, it means that everybody that use your invitation code will only see things related to gym and will always have your basic program that is related to gym in their results. So it allows you to tailor invitation codes that would be useful for a certain group of people. And then, of course, they can go to their own settings and uncheck it and go further if they want, but that is their own choice. The goal of that is that they would start with the app with something simple and that it would be tailored for them. Okay.
Enlever certaines choses.
And once you have created your code, you can just remove your settings and go back to what you were before. Because it has been saved, so everything that now you will change will not be reflected into the invitation code. It has already been saved, okay? So you can do another personalization on another invitation code if you want.
Fantastic. Amazing.
By the way, you also have the default share option for when you share an analysis. So you can set up here that you want to always share the personal guide, the harmonic boost, not the reports, and share the AI helpers. And you can check them all, or just choose to share, I don't know, only the TCM practitioner and the meditation coach, for instance. And next time you share a report, these options will be pre-selected like that. So you can still change them, but it will be your default options. So again, you can prepare some things that you will do for one of your customers that will have complete control of what you want him to see, so that he's not overloaded by information like everybody is in the app the first time they go. So we are trying to make things more simple. I think it's a good way to allow people to enter with simple things and then expand to other things if they want.
And you have made some improvements to the player controls as well?
That is true. Let me go to the player. I have, so if you go to personal guide and you start, no, it's waiting for preload, of course. By the way, yes, you know, have these different buttons here. So you can mute the voice, you can mute the frequencies, you can change the voice speed, and you can do half or mute entirely the background noise. Okay, so the background noise is intentionally high. Let's mute the voice. Okay, but you can make it a little bit lower if you find it too strong, or you can even disable it completely.
What is the background noise?
Test it and you will know.
Is that something, why would you want it intentionally high?
Because you need your brain to be, you need your mental to be bypassed, and you need to create a cocoon. You need to create a cocoon around you.
Okay.
Last week, I spoke about what we do with the background noise, and I've written a little blog entry if you want to see it. Sorry. Blog. Which is it? Yes, sorry.
Because I did hear it and it was very annoying.
Yes, and now it's deliberately strong because your mental should not focus on the voice. The voice should be something that is guiding you, but you should not be too much focused if you want to give some space to your unconscious mind. because that's what a meditation is. It's allowing you to enter into an alternate state of consciousness, which gives more space to your body and to your unconscious.
Same thing as in meditation.
Yes, that's meditation anyway.
That's the whole idea, is to bypass the intellect with a mantra or something.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So now if you go to BioCoherence and you click on news, you can click on blog and updates. So you will see what will coming in 1.21. You will see everything that was new in 1.20, but you will also see this one that I wrote after the last webinar last week, which explains you what we do with this white noise. The best is you can really check. This is the magnetic field of the Earth. This is the magnetic field of an atom, and this is the magnetic field of a human. And this is the torus that we are creating around you with the white noise. This is a...
Where can I find this information that you're
blog?
Okay,
on the blog?
let's go again. Biocoherence.net, news,
Yeah,
blog.
news blog. Okay.
And then it's torus all the way down. And this is a white noise that you hear, and you see there are some periods like that which can stimulate something that happens like that around you, which is like a bubble of protection. Robert Monroe calls it the personal energy balloon, which is a way to create around you a bubble of energy where you feel safe, you know?
So the atomic atoms, the toroid is perpendicular to the field of the Earth and the human. The torus is perpendicular.
It's a very worth way to see a magnetic field, because a magnetic field is in 3 dimensions, and that shows you only one of the layers of the magnetic field. So this is one layer, but you see this explains the different layers. But each of the layer is a different torus, and it's like different skins that we have around us, and you can actually feel them with your hands with a little bit of training. So if you want just to train yourself to, you know, start feeling that you have some resistance at some point, and you can feel this field expanding or contracting around you when you are connecting to something that will energize you or something that will be bad for you. You can actually feel it like that with just a little bit of training. So for instance, if you want to train on this, you just try to find a place where you feel a kind of resistance, and then you just grab a piece of white sugar and you put it here, and you will feel that it will just deflate your energy. And when you've done it 20 times, you will start gaining some confidence in it. This is the same kind of technique that you use when you do some kinesiology, for instance. And this is the same kind of things that we do when you do a live test in the app, when we measure how your energy field is moving when you are presented with information. So frequencies or images or something like that. So anyway, what we want to create in the meditation is this kind of protection bubble. And in this protection bubble, you can work safely. That is why the button during the meditation is a torus for the background noise.
It's just that I found it distracting a little bit.
Yes, but that's why there is no way to make it less present, you know, or to even remove it completely if you prefer.
Oh, you can just remove
it. Just try with the next time you try a personal guide, try to make it lower or to remove it and see if it's better for you. Because
is that a new button on the bottom?
It's this new button with the torus.
Okay, right.
Like a torus.
So you click on the torus and you can change the background noise. You click on the voice or on the frequency and you can disable them. So for instance, you can actually play the personal guide and remove the voice and just let it in the background while you are working. And it will do something in the background. of your consciousness. So this is not a meditation by itself. It's just a
No.
way to get the frequencies in the proper way. Because
Can
of
I
course,
just confirm something you said last time? You said it's 4 frequencies at a time for 6.73 seconds
yes,
at Planck times phi,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So this could be
6.73 seconds is a multiple of Planck time.
Planck phi, you're right.
Yes.
And so this keeps cycling depending on how many boxes you've ticked. So it
Yeah,
may
exactly.
go in groups for an
Yes.
hour or something. Okay.
Yes. Mm.
Uh-huh. So there's no real limit to how many things you can put in there. It's just a question of how many times they will repeat. Yeah.
Yes. And generally speaking, if you have a deficiency in 30 different minerals, maybe you don't take the 30 minerals at once. Maybe you take the 5 most important, and then you do a new analysis and you take the next 5 important, So maybe don't do an overload with, I will put 400 programs and
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
it all day, because at one point you will just get too much fatigue from it, So you have to
Yeah.
focus on what's important. And one of the new ways to find out what is important, besides the priorities, I think, is the new causal chain screen. It can
Hmm.
really help you pinpoint the relationships between everything in your analysis. Mm.
So
Amazing.
that would in testing before, when I was using the plasma fire globes, and I would turn it on, and it's like an hour and a half later, it's like, I mean, there was no pain. It was just, everything was just energized, and I had to turn it off. So now this, with that new button, I can prioritize, maybe not leave it in a loop, but that's really good. Thank you. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it hits a chord where it's going to be helpful for me in real life.
Cool, great. Okay, so maybe I just want to show you something that I'm also working on, and it's last week we said, and I think it was you, Dan, you said, okay, but what is a normal value for one specific biomarker? And I said, we need a lot of data to make some big data crunching to get some information. And I just wanted to show you how it looks server side. So this is not in the app. This is the kind of things that we can do in the back office. And for every one of the 1,400 biomarkers, we can get a sample from the recordings we have on the server, and we can calculate some items. And the most important is that we can calculate the mean, the standard deviation, and the 95th percentile of norm, which means that when we can integrate that in the app, and it will be integrated pretty soon, probably, and it will be updated each time we have sufficient new data to refine this. We can start presenting, we can start having a much more reliable, sorry, thanks. A much more reliable values for the flower, for the energy and the entropy of the flower. So we'll probably be able to adjust in a much better way the limits, the two limits of the flower in the vertical axis and the horizontal axis according to these norms. And pretty soon we will be able to tell, it's a bell curve, it's a Gauss curve. You know what it is?
Yeah.
When you have a lot of values, statistically speaking, you would usually have a curve like that, with most of the values around the center, and then you have a bell curve around each side. What we have here is that we are now able to calculate the center for each of these biomarkers, and we are able to calculate the standard deviation, which means where you are approximately in the middle of the curve, and the 95th percentile. It means when you are in the 5%, which are really not normal. So when we have that, we can add some colors to your bars, and you can say, okay, your energy is in the green zone, or it's in the yellow zone, or it's in the red zone. And when it's in the red zone, it means that you are in the external 5% of what is normal. So this will be very useful because when we have norms, we can really pinpoint a new way also to find what would be interesting to see into this particular analysis, and to say, okay, for this particular user, we have this list of biomarkers that is really out of the norm. And
good or bad?
Yes, good or bad. Well, good is in the center somehow, and bad is in one of the extremes. So either very high or very low, either very static or very agitated. But we will have norms for all of that. And I think it's very important because it's also, scientifically speaking, it's very good for us to be able to say, okay, we have this amount of data on more than 1,000 new biomarkers, and we can state norms and we can reproduce this. So I think it's also very important for the future of science communication around biocoherence.
So,
And yes, sorry, Tino, I have one intuition, which is still only an intuition, is that we will discover some types, some groups, and we will discover a way to say, oh, this person is in the group 12, for instance. And say we discover 20 different groups that have the same kind of mean, same kind of standard deviation around a specific set of biomarkers, and the same kind of other mean and standard deviation around another set of biomarker. And maybe this would be correlated, for instance, to Vata, Pitta, Kapha in Ayurveda, which are very well-known specific groups. But maybe we will also discover some new groups that would be very useful for the medical practices. So right now it's still let's say an intuition. And mathematically speaking, it's a nightmare to try and pinpoint groups into more than 1,000 variables and thousands of recordings. But if we can pull that, I think it could lead to a medical revolution, because identifying groups means we can identify functional ways that are similar across these groups. So probably sensible to the same pathogens, prone to the same diseases, probably related to genes, same genes, etc., etc.
Cold climates, warm climates, people who can do better in the
Yes, better resistance to this kind of burden or that kind of burden. It means that when we have that and we are able to say, hey, you belong to group 13, so this is probably where you are good at. You should pay attention to flu because you are very sensible to flu. Don't eat meat because it's not good for you, and so on and so on. So you understand, when we have such groups and we know what are the strengths and weaknesses in each of these groups, it could be really, really useful. But honestly, that's not something we will get in the next 2 years. I think we will really need a lot of data to get this kind of things. But just to show you, that's one of the possible outcomes of having a lot of recordings open for research.
But then you would have to categorize the person to begin with in some form or another, so you can associate that data with that person.
Yes, we would have to have some questionnaires, for instance. And once we have identified some groups, we could easily, for instance, send a notification to the people of this group and say, hey, do you want to fill this questionnaire? It would help us with some new data, and see if 90% of the group is answering the same question about a questionnaire. We can just do some correlations. So once we start identifying these groups, it would be quite easy to see if there are correlations with useful data that then we can publish. But I think it would be a very useful thing.
I'd like to make a comment here. I think it's important to to raise one concern I have. The massive collection of data and processing of data for massive quantities of people, I wouldn't regard it as the ideal reference. And I mean, I would say 90% of the population nowadays is sick.
Yes.
If you gather the data from that people and then you take the norm and then you say that is the norm and that means healthy status, then we are offset. You know what I mean?
Yes, but
But we should consider this. I mean, the power of this is gorgeous, but I think that's one of the errors the medical industry is doing
yes.
every day.
So
When they say you
I
have a blood
100%.
test and they tell your
Yeah.
cholesterol is within this range and that's the average. Well, yeah, but does that mean it's good or not? That doesn't mean anything, but just standard. If everybody is leaning towards left, then is that good?
Yeah, so I totally agree with you. We have some things that nobody else have. We have the evolution of biomarkers across a 21-day meditation program. And we have a way to assess if things go into the right direction or not. So if we have a focus of biomarkers that are focusing in one direction at the end of the program, and we have a way to say that, yes, this is going into the right direction, maybe we will have a much healthier basis for having these norms.
Yeah.
But you are right, it's a mean and it's a normal measured value. It doesn't mean that it's a good value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can establish healthy from the program. You can tell when things have energy and things are functioning well. So we could have a baseline of healthy, irrespective of the group assessment,
Yes,
because
probably.
healthy is healthy.
Yeah. But the immediate use will be to have a better calibration of the flowers. Because right now the flowers are calibrated on a fixed scale that comes from all of our initial readings, where we saw that the values were moving between this and that. But now we will have when we have a lot more readings, we can pinpoint a bit more precisely this scale, and so the flowers will tend to be more precise. Yes, Jason. No mic. You don't have sound, Jason. Yes.
There you go. Sorry. Yes, I was just going to comment on what Tino had said, and we actually utilize a set of references for optimal performance athletes. That sets our baseline of what we're looking for as far as where should a person be or what are they trying to get to. And if we, it's not a norm, it's not the norm, it's not the population norm, but it is what's possible or what's optimal in, the highest performing, people. So, I think that's an important reference, because if we're just setting baselines to what the population norms are, we're kind of keeping everybody thinking that that's what's possible.
Yeah. Anyway, the norm we will have will be on the energetic side. So probably if you are on the lower 5%, you can say that it's bad. If you are on the higher 5%, you can discuss. Maybe it's too much and you are overloading, or maybe you are just pumping energy. Same for entropy. If you are on the upper 5%, it's very agitated and it's probably not good. But it's open for discussion. If you are in the lower 5%, it's probably not good at all, because something that doesn't move is not something alive. So you don't want to be in the lower 5%. So I think it will anyway give an interesting information, even if it's not a norm that we can say you should be right in the middle. But being at the extremes is usually a sign of concern. Yes, Dan. Dan, we don't have your microphone.
Sorry, it didn't come off.
Yeah.
So my question was really evolving around when I see the Elfie screen is, so when the frequencies are in there, I'm talking about the like the 21-day program. So you set up a protocol and stuff. So is the frequency pumped out at 95%, 0.95? Because see, when I looked at the Elfie, you said 0.95. I mean, I guess if let's say something is in the bell curve, something's in the yellow, right? Okay, so it's down. Maybe it's registering at a percentage, 0.35, right? And so when the sound is generated that you listen to, whether you have the meditation or not, is it 100%? In other words, if it has to be a binaural beat because it's lower frequency than what you can hear, um, is the sound that's generated that I'm listening to based on the protocol, doing the sound, say I'm on day one, and those frequencies that are in there.
The frequencies that are generated are fixed frequencies because they are bioactive frequencies. It means that each of the biomarker and each of the protocols have a fixed set of frequencies. So the app does a detection of what biomarkers are important for you. But then if you play a specific biomarker, it will be the same frequencies for everybody because these frequencies are known to be bioactive with this system. Okay. So the frequencies are not tuned by themselves to your system. What is tuned to your system is if you add protocols and if you add if you do a specific selection and so on, then it will start to be much more accurate, especially if you add protocols. But the frequencies by themselves are not read into your system. They are read from a fixed table of frequencies that could come from RIFE or for bioresonance or things like that. So known frequencies somehow.
Okay, so so when it's in a low, I understand what you're saying. So, but I'm just trying to clarify it. So, because some people are going to say, well, how is this helping? Okay, so this biomarker is it's chaotic, 100% chaotic, or it's agitated or something, right? And in the bell curve, and I know we don't have the bell curve yet, but you just use yellow as a reference. It's not red, it's yellow. So they're going to say, well, is it 100% of that frequency, or because you got to, I'm just using 35%. In other words, puts it in the yellow. It's only just a plot on the bell curve, but it's something that needs help. So I just tell them, well, it's the frequency for that biomarker, and it hits it, and it may run in the program.
Okay, so let me clarify. It's what we call in information theory a nonlinear system. It means there is no direct link between the frequencies that we measure and the state of the flowers. There is a lot of intermediate calculations that take into account a lot of things, but not just the frequencies that would be measured into your pearls. So we, for instance, if you have the biomarker of the lung, the level of energy will not be a direct reading of a specific frequency into your electrocardiogram. It's a much more complicated process that involves a lot of calculations. So there is no direct link of is there a frequency into my system and how is the flower at the end. It's much more complicated than that. So if you are on the extreme of the energy or the agitation, it means that things are happening in your system, but it's not a direct frequency reading.
So that's where the causal chain comes in. I'm just trying to. It's not linear. I get that. It's not linear. It's like, some of these are irreducible, so you have to another way. And that's all. Because they're just going to ask me, well, how's it fixing? I mean, I'm not going to give them the scientific example, but no, these are the frequencies. This frequency for this particular element, not just the lung, because if you go in and see what's energetic, these are all helpful. We're going to put these in. these are red, not so much, right? So I just trying to, it's just for explanation for, you know.
Okay, if you want a simple analogy, when you speak to me, I'm not listening to the particular frequencies that come from out of your mouth. I'm listening to the words, and I'm translating them into something else. So it's not the direct frequencies that come from your mouth that convey the message. It's actually the words. It means how they change and how they form and the different sounds that you do. Okay. So that's why I say it's much more complicated than just frequencies.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That answered my question.
Okay.
And it's a very good answer that I can give back because I understand, every word, every symbol it has power. It's like magic.
It's more patterns than frequency, in fact. I'm just looking at question. Kat, you have the question. Once someone enters an invitation code, yes, it is stored with their account. So if they don't have to take the subscription right after that, if they take the subscription later, it will still be hooked to your account. That's the principle of entering a code. It stays with them. Okay. Anything else?
No, not for me. Question from Johnny.
I just want to make a comment.
Yes.
Please, I appreciate the invitation that I got from Stephen to attend the meeting. So I hope you keep sending me more. I want to come back.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We are here every Thursday at the same time.
So keep me on the list.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to see you guys next week. I'm going to Texas and I'll have everything with me, but
Okay, wait. Maybe we keep that for after I stop the recording. Do anybody have an interesting question? Because if I stop the recording and there is an interesting question, I will not answer it. Yes, Jason.
I just had a comment. So going back to just the last week or two, I just wanted to comment that I've been doing the daily meditation program all the way through. I've been able to reevaluate and see the wave and the change in my own process. I feel these things working very well. And again, I'm always reassessing lots of different physical things with this. And it's pretty phenomenal how it lends to progress of lots of things. So all the new things have been fantastic. And then I test drove a number of the AI helpers.
Yeah.
Which were extremely interesting in what they would lend to my questions and functional applications of things I could do, all the way from recipes I could make for meals, or just so many things open up from that. So I'm incredibly intrigued by that aspect of things, and I think it just lends so much in terms of meeting people, each person particularly where they're at and how they want to take care of their health. It's remarkable. Oh. And just what you presented today, and being able to be assessing and reassessing with the system within a session. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for saying that.
It's a remarkable system.
Okay, so I definitely had a good idea not to stop the recording.
So does anybody else have anything nice to say?
Yes, we need it.
Yeah, I want to say something.
We are working all day like hogs, so just say it's for the good cause.
I'm using the clear vision. I can see. It's working. It's working really well. I mean,
The basic program, you mean?
focusing. Yeah, just the basic program. I mean, protocols in my 21 days for tears and eyes and stuff was comparing them. Program them out already, but then I looked at the basic. It's like, wow, the program's really good because the basic one, which I'm using all by itself on top of 21 day, or I should say below, because I do that when I wake up in the morning, my vision has really gotten back to its focus. So,
Wow.
I don't have to spend the big bucks going to Vancouver and sitting in the Therify. I can just do biocoherence with my speakers at my house, my headphones, and it works. I mean, I'm gonna get my eyes checked here tomorrow before I leave, but just to make sure so I can see, because I have 20/60. I still have my glasses. I have astigmatism. I'm hoping biocoherence will help my body flatten out the lens so I don't have the stigmatism. Right now, it's really improved the eye chart. Anyway, I'm going to let Jason bring up a point because he's always got valuable information.
No, what you just pointed out, Dan, is remarkable, and really, rather than just waiting till tomorrow to go to your eye doctor, if you pick up anything you can read, there are different size fonts on it, and if you assess what you can read at like arm's length before you play something like an eye frequency, and then you reassess that right after. You can see immediate changes in vision. You can see that all day long. You can do this with so many things. You can see changes in range of motion. You can see changes in coordination and strength. If you have a grip dynamometer, it's adding measurement to this. This is what's phenomenal about this system, is the ability to use it as measurement. Right. And the more we have the ability to use objective and subjective measurements with people, because everybody is unique. So we have a lot of ways to show that we're making changes both through the system and with the person if we add in a measurement right there with that. So if Dan goes, oh, I can see that after my eye frequency, I reevaluated, I see some changes on the BioCoherence system. I also see some changes on the multi-size font chart in regards to where my vision is right now. And that should improve significant things. We think about something like vision. All these aspects of our nervous system are reflexive. If you improve something, you should see lots of things improve.
Yeah.
Systemically. So thanks for adding that in, Dan. Get your multi-size font chart or your Snellen chart and check your vision today.
Yeah.
And that gives me the idea that I should add an open discussion forum behind every basic program so that you can put some testimonies in it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dan, did you just use the standard meditation, or did you add some specific things about the eye?
I just, everything I've done, since I'm just still learning, I don't want to put a protocol in there that I'm not really understanding. But now with the causal chain, I don't, there's no guessing. I can look and see, okay, I can see that, that's red. Red would be good if I'm working on the opposite to strengthen something, but I wouldn't want to use it in this particular case. So the causal chain, but no, I have not added protocols. I was just comparing what my scan for, because when you go to the body, the mind, the energy, and just click on it, right? And then, I was comparing those with the eyes, and I was looking at that because the eyes is, just by the category that it was in when I select basic programs, right? And then I use that same category when you're going to harmonize stuff. You can have complete, body, mind. So I just selected, body, and then was comparing the different the frequencies that were in there, and a lot of them, liver, eyes, even stomach. There was a lot of similar frequencies based on my scan, my analysis, and the basic program. I mean, that's just more proof that, okay, there is a problem.
Just to reiterate, you can play a basic program from the home screen if you don't open an analysis, but you can also integrate a basic program into your own analysis if you work from a recording. And you go to priorities, and you can just add every item of the basic program to your current priorities. So you can make one big program with your custom priorities and this one, or you can do like you did, which is on the morning you play the basic program, and on the evening you play your custom program.
So and you play twice a
I was
day.
just trying to compare, just to see how the analysis comes against the basic program, and the basic program's working for me. So it just adds more strength to the analysis that proves biocoherence. That the analysis is actually very accurate.
Just
Or
now,
at least the basic program's accurate.
okay.
Yes. Christine did.
Just now when I left, it was a call from my neurosurgeon, and he wants to operate the tumor. And I'm like going, maybe we can accelerate this program and avoid another open brain surgery. I don't know if there's some turbocharge that we can.
Please do it, and next week you are cured, and you can do a nice testimony.
I will make a testimony, even if it's a month. I don't mind. But I need some help to make the program work. So maybe I can call Stephen after to discuss it.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Let's make it happen.
I'll stop the recording now.
Right after this.
Okay, thanks to everybody. I
you.
stop the recording now.